Radically dumb, smart people push for redoing the First and Second Amendments, and Democrats have a descent into madness and gnashing of teeth after observing the horror of Senator Joe Manchin following through on his own promise. That's coming up on The Breakdown. Because radical left college professors always think they're smarter than America's founders were, the University of Miami's Mary Ann Franks, author of a book called The Cult of the Constitution, Our Deadly Devotion to Guns and Free Speech. Well, I'm sure that you have that one on your bookshelf. Now, she's calling for a redo of what she calls the deeply flawed First and Second Amendments. And how are two of the greatest advances in civil rights in history flawed? Well, you'll have to wade through a whole lot of $4 words. But in a nutshell, with an emphasis on nut, people are harming vulnerable groups by asserting their individual rights. So those need to be reined in order to protect equality and the collective good, according to her. Bottom line, you're not allowed to contradict what the government deems to be good or defend yourself from it, which is pretty much the kind of dictatorial thinking that caused the founders to write the First and Second Amendments in the first place. I'd just like to say to her, no thanks. I kind of like the Bill of Rights just fine the way it is. And it doesn't need to be rewritten any more than does George Orwell, who predicted this very story perfectly in 1945 when he wrote, quote, "One has to belong to the intelligentsia to believe things like that, because no ordinary man could be such a fool," end quote. This mentality of the elitist left regarding our rights and the foundations of our country is exactly what has caused such upheaval this week to Senator Joe Manchin's Christmas present to America, all in the form of putting the kibosh on Joe Biden's Build Back bankruptcy bill. And the leftist reaction to this is giving new meaning to the term red diaper baby. There were so many televised temper tantrums on Monday that I thought MSNBC was airing a Bridezilla's marathon. AOC, Ilhan Omar, and the usual cast of empty talking heads have been wailing, stomping, and threatening Manchin ever since he refused to buy them their multi-trillion-dollar toy on Sunday. They keep claiming that he has betrayed the voters of West Virginia, who, by the way, opposed this bill by 74%, according to the latest poll. And he's got a lot to answer to them for. West Virginians also told Fox News what they think of Manchin killing the Build Back Better bill. So I don't think he's going to lose any sleep over the loons on the left's comments to him or about him. The White House also railed childishly at Manchin's, quote, betrayal. Jen Psaki was angrily huffing out of a press conference when she was even questioned about it. Watch.
Might we hear directly from the president about what happened yesterday?
I think you will hear from him on how we're going to get the agenda done.
Will he take questions on it?
He takes questions multiple times a week, so depends on what you ask. Depends on what you ask.
Ironically, it now appears that all this spiteful, immature brattiness may actually have been the last straw that caused Manchin to kill the bill. The reason he may have given up trying may be what he called the incivility of the White House staff. But the bullying and the intimidation just didn't work. And Joe Manchin didn't mince words in response to the antics of the White House. He said that Biden's staffers, quote, drove some things and they put some things out there that were absolutely inexcusable. They know what it is, and that's it. They figured, surely to God we can move one person. We surely can badger and beat one person up. Surely we can get enough protesters to make that person uncomfortable enough that they'll just say, okay, I'll vote for anything. Well, guess what? I'm from West Virginia. I'm not from where they came from. And they can't just beat the living crap out of people and think they'll be submissive, period. End quote. And to that I say, bravo, Joe Manchin. But in a sign that brain death is maybe setting in, Democrat Party leaders actually seem to be taking advice on strategy from AOC, who is urging a combination of underhanded power-grabbing maneuvers and bullying Joe Manchin even more. This is just one more reason why Newt Gingrich said that when dealing with today's Democrat leaders, you can't come at it from a political perspective. You have to bear in mind that you're dealing with people who have mental problems and are completely divorced from reality. I mean, think about it. What they're talking about is the surest way to convince Joe Manchin to switch parties. He barely won his last re-election bid, and his state has moved much farther right since, while Democrats are threatening to primary him with a more leftist opponent. It was fun being the most powerful man in the Senate, but now his own party is determined to attack him constantly, and it might just be in his best interest electorally to become a Republican. If he does, that would throw the Senate, the U.S. Senate majority, back to the Republicans. And good old Chuck Schumer would be back in the minority seat where he belongs. And all because the immature spoiled brats running the Democrat Party now would rather throw a tantrum for not getting everything they want for Christmas than to grow up and think like adults. Even as a seasoned political player as Schumer is, he seems to have become dumber from being around AOC and the rest. He now claims that he's going to bring that big old Bill dead horse up for another vote in January and force everyone to go on record. He might even do it again and again. Quite frankly, that's an idiotic move. The bill is dead, so the vote's pointless. It's going to be opposed by all 50 Republicans plus Manchin, who will just become even more popular in West Virginia for saying no on the record. Meanwhile, he's going to be forcing all the other Democrats who just dodged a bullet by not having to support this unpopular bill, either to have to support it and give Republicans another campaign issue to bash them with, or oppose it and make Biden and his agenda look even weaker. To quote that great philosopher Forrest Gump, stupid is as stupid does. Now, on the converse side of that statement, smart is as smart does. Now, if you want to be and stay smart, here's an idea. Consider clicking the subscribe button below and the notification bell next to it. And if you enjoyed the video, I hope you'll leave a like and a comment below. And of course, if you'd like more of my news analysis and commentary, it's pretty simple. Sign up for my newsletter on MikeHuckabee.com. It comes to your email inbox twice every day, easy to read, and guess what? It is totally free. You don't pay anything for it. It's advertiser supported. So no risk on your part. Well, that's going to do it for this edition of The Breakdown. I'm Mike Huckabee.